Hello, friends, and welcome to the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan channel. I am your host, JT Tapias, and today we're going to be speaking about this fascinating subject called habits. The reason I am a little hyper obsessive about this idea of habits is because I truly believe that habits have the power to unleash your wildest dreams. That's right. If you have tried to lose weight, get in shape, go to the gym, do any of these things that for most people is so incredibly hard, I'm here to say, my friend, that having the right combination of habits in place can literally unleash the giant within. So today I want to talk about that. I want to talk about very tangible ways on how to do that. And so first and foremost, I think the definition of the word habit is important. A habit is basically any action, any behavior that is repeated over and over to the point where it becomes automatic. In other words, you don't have to exert a ton of energy to make it happen, and it happens, right? It's just like breathing. And so this is what we want to create in terms of our nutrition, our fitness, our career, our relationships, our parenting. We want to make sure that we are disciplined people, right? You often hear that word thrown around, discipline, and really all discipline is someone that has really been able to dial in their habits. And so how do these habits get established in the first place, right? We have a tendency to think that things just sort of happen, but the truth is that good and bad habits have a moment of initiation. And for the most part, that is your environment, your culture, your peers, your parents, right? They're the ones that teach us, I believe it's 70,000 thoughts and ideas around behavior and habits are established in us from the time we are born until we leave our parents' homes, right? So there's a lot of conditioning there. And of course, this is why we see, a program and we want to jump on it. And then you may lose some weight, you may get a little bit in shape, but then all of a sudden you default back to your normal settings. And the idea is that you're flawed. And I'm here to say that nothing can be further from the truth. You are trying to basically incorporate a bunch of new habits after having some very, very deep-rooted habits in you from the time you were a kid. And so it takes a little while, but it takes being systematic and sequential in the way you go about this. We have triggers, we have temptations, we have things that constantly derail us. But if we have a set of solid habits dialed in and in place, then we're going to be able to actually counteract some of those triggers, those temptations, and those things that are out there. So I think it's important to talk about how we get tempted to do good or bad. Let's talk about the bad habits and how we get cued into those. Number one, there is a cue, right? You see, smell, or hear something that all of a sudden, right, it cues you into that. You kind of focus in, like you have a lens and you focus into that thing, right? Not only visually, but mentally, you actually get fixated in that particular thing. Since we're talking about bad habits, we're going to talk about maybe the ice cream, right? So you walk into an ice cream shop and you get fixated on that ice cream, you get cued into it, right? Then you experience a craving, right? And then you take a mental inventory of the last time you ate ice cream, and you, in a matter of nanoseconds, ask yourself the question, was that really, really good? And then you start to basically romanticize and market in your brain the idea of how good that was. And you create this desperate craving, this desire to actually eat that ice cream. Next thing you know, you're indulging in it, right? This is your response. This is where you say yay or nay. And it really depends on how deeply anchored to your emotions that particular thing is. Okay, so if you have a strong emotional connection to that thing that's cueing you in, creating the craving, then most likely you're going to say yay instead of nay, right? You're going to go for it. And of course, after that, you may get a moment of reward where you feel good, it tastes good. But of course, if you made the bad choice, you sort of break those parameters, those things you said you weren't going to do, and you feel disappointed. And then you just beat yourself up for the next couple of days and weeks and months. And you're like, why did I do that? And you think you're flawed. So I'm here to say that we can reverse that script, right? When we get cued into something, right? When we bring our lens into that thing we get fixated onto, we see, we smell it, we hear it, we all of a sudden develop a craving. And we do that when we do that mental inventory, if we can actually mark it in the opposite direction. In other words, if we can think of the time that we actually fell short of our commitments, and we get really upset by that. We remember how upset that made us and how long it took us to get over it. And we market that idea, then guess what? You create pain. And that pain, right, will dictate your response. And you most likely will push away or you may create an image of that thing that you're so enamored with in a kind of a gross way, right? You make a mental image of that ice cream going down into your digestive system, and you just make a bad marketing, a bad PR campaign around what happens and how that gets digested. And all of a sudden it becomes repulsive, right? And you push away from it. And the reward, my friend, here's the trick. The beautiful thing about making good decisions is, as opposed to making bad decisions really, really condemn you. They make you feel bad. You feel like you're flawed, like you don't have any self-control, any discipline. You really feel bad about yourself. But on the contrary, when you actually make good decisions, the reward is that you actually build confidence, not prideful kind of confidence like the world says of how people perceive you or what people think about you, but instead, it's this confidence that comes from congruency with yourself. You build trust within yourself that you said you weren't going to do something, you actually followed through and you didn't do it. And that makes you very strong. That's very edifying. And that is the stuff that creates momentum and allows habits to really become solidified in you. And so I'm here to say that this is a sequential process. So I want to just remind you, you get cued in, right? You take mental inventory of whether that craving is worth it or not. You have a response based on the emotional anchors that you have towards that particular thing or away from that thing. And then the reward, if you go the wrong way, is that you're going to beat yourself up. But if you actually say no to the thing that you're staying away from, you build that confidence. And then that allows a very healthy, fertile ground in an ecosystem that's going to allow you to incorporate some powerful habits that will transform your life. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. If you enjoyed this video, please check this video out here. If we are not friends on YouTube yet, please subscribe to my channel. I enjoy speaking about things that edify the mind, the body, and the spirit. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.